What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you today, and a special episode at that. Today, we're going to be talking about the top 10 new additions from day one of the NFL Legal Tampering Period. As I like to call, same face, new place. We're going to go over all the moves that we saw all day yesterday. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, Nick, we had a lot of movement yesterday, and it was fireworks from noon until, at the point that we're actually recording this video at 8:30 at night. It's been nonstop action, and there's still a ton of moves that are on the brink of happening, but I wanted to get this video out there. I wanted to make this video and let everybody know where teams stand right now, and I think we have to talk about the top 10 players who have decided to move on and start anew with new teams.
And it seems like it's mostly with the New England Patriots. Seems kind of fitting. Everybody wants to team up with Bill Belichick and try to get another ring without Tom Brady now. And it all starts off with Jonnu Smith, right? Jonnu Smith, the big tight end. And honestly, was he the biggest tight end in free agency before the start? I would have to say Hunter Henry was the bigger target. I really don't believe Jonnu Smith was the bigger name in this. But I love this. I think Jonnu Smith is very reminiscent of what we saw Aaron Hernandez do in this offense. I think that he is going to be the big versatile weapon that the Patriots have been looking for this entire time, and he might be the X factor for Cam Newton in this offense.
I love Jonnu Smith. Had him as my fantasy tight end last year. Absolutely loved him. I believe that he is a phenomenal talent. If you say he's Aaron Hernandez, as long as he comes without the murder, I'm fine with it. He is one of the fastest tight ends and overall receivers in this league. He was the third fastest tight end according to Next Gen Stats, and the only behind Darren Waller and Evan Ingram. I'm fine with that. If you're telling me he's going to be Aaron Hernandez, I'll take it without the murder, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Up next, Matthew Judon. He was the next big signing. And of course, the New England Patriots. Like I said, this was Patriot Day. It really was. Matthew Judon joins the Patriots in what was an amazing move for the Patriots. I think that Matthew Judon has everything it takes to fit the mold that Bill Belichick likes at linebacker as an edge rusher. He is a guy I've expected to be on the Patriots for the last couple of years now, and they finally pulled the trigger, giving him the big deal. I think that this is going to pay dividends for them. He is going to be what Jamie Collins was for the Patriots and Chandler Jones was years ago. I think that he is going to thrive in this system.
I'm actually going to liken him to a different Patriots linebacker, and one they also signed from the Baltimore Ravens, Adalius Thomas. That's who Matthew Judon reminds me a lot of, and I can't take credit for it because I saw it all over Twitter, but they were right. I absolutely love this guy. His ability to create pressure off the edge and not utilize the people around him, but simply create his own pressure is phenomenal. I believe that he was the better of the two pass rushers that the Ravens had last year, and now will be without because Yannick Ngakoue is also out of Baltimore. And I just believe that Matthew Judon coming to a Bill Belichick coach team is going to thrive in this organization, and he is going to hit numbers that he has never seen before.
And to all you Baltimore Ravens fans out there that said that Matthew Judon didn't do anything this season, I'm glad that he's a Patriot because I know he's going to do great things for my team. You don't deserve him if you're going to treat him like crap. And at number 3, Nelson Agholor, the final Patriots signing we're going to talk about, even though this wasn't even half the signings they had today. Nelson Agholor, 2 years, $26 million for the Patriots. This is the burner they've needed for a long time. He is the missing piece that they need, and he's exactly what Cam Newton loves. Cam Newton loves throwing the deep ball, and no one catches more deep balls than Nelson Agholor. I think that he is going to work out extremely well in this system. I think that Josh McDaniels is going to design specific plays to get him open deep so Cam can use his arm. I think that this is going to be the perfect offset to what Jonnu Smith is doing at tight end and what the Patriots' other receivers are doing opposite the field.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of hate on Twitter for liking this move, but I have to say that Nelson Agholor, first of all, is a former first round draft pick. And when I say former, it wasn't that long ago, only 2015. And outside of Philadelphia, he seems to have thrived really well. It just seems like the Philadelphia aura just absolutely absorbed in his mind. He just, I mean, listen, I can't understand how anybody thrives in that terrible city, but nonetheless, he left. He went to Las Vegas, and he proved himself on a veteran minimum contract for 1 year and said, "Listen, I am not that guy. Philadelphia was a terrible spot for me. Look at what I can do when you actually give me a chance on the outside instead of throwing me at the slot 24/7." Well, now you get a burner who had more 20 plus yard touchdowns than any other receiver in the NFL last year. I take a look at Nelson Agholor. I think this is a perfect complement to what the Patriots are trying to do.
At number 4, we have Yannick Ngakoue. Surprisingly, he went to the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that I thought that they would be solid with Clelin Ferrell and Max Crosby as their defensive ends. I didn't know there were 3 ends on defense, so this comes as a surprise to me. I don't exactly know where he fits in on this team, but I think that John Gruden is going to make this work. I think that Mike Mayock knows what he's doing, and he's going to make moves to better this team. The Raiders have made a ton of offensive moves that have put them in a big hole, but they're starting to make some big moves on defense to get this up and running. I think the Raiders could be on the right track if they can get some other pieces, but right now, I like the move for Yannick Ngakoue.
Nick, what's the most important piece on an NFL team?
Quarterback.
What's the second most important piece?
Edge rusher.
Okay, so you can't have too many of those guys, right? I mean, even if you're rotating them in and out, if you have Clelin Ferrell and Max Crosby, why not throw another edge rusher out there and see what you can get out of it? Because you know what? Max Crosby or Ferrell can both move inside if they needed to, especially on pass rushing downs. So when you get a guy like Yannick Ngakoue who can get to the quarterback by himself, I believe that you have the guy that you're looking for. He's going to help this defense in many ways, and like you said, I believe in Mike Mayock. I believe that he is going to bring this Raiders team to exactly where they want to be. Now they have the quarterback they wanted. Now they have the edge rushers they wanted.
At number 5, we have the biggest signing of the day, Joe Thuney to the Kansas City Chiefs. Honestly, this is a kind of a surprise. 5 years, $80 million for a guard. A guy who plays inside on the line. He's an inline blocker. He's not an outside guy protecting against edge rushers. This doesn't make any sense to me. Look, Thuney's a great player. He's one of the best guards in the game. But they just gave away 2 of their biggest players in Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. And I think you're going to take that extra cap space and go move it to guard. Makes no sense. I don't think that guard was necessarily a big need for the Chiefs. And so I'm not a big proponent of the Chiefs moving on for a guy like Joe Thuney. I think that they are glaring holes right now at tackle. What does look bright, though, is how this deal is structured. There's only a $4.5 million cap hit for year 1, so they still have plenty of money to go and get a tackle either in the draft or in free agency. They can get somebody to help shore up these lines, because right now, if you saw what happened in the Super Bowl, right now it's going to continue to happen if they don't get some help.
Yeah, I agree. I love Thuney. I love Thuney as a New England Patriots fan. You know, he worked really well. He never missed a game in his Patriots career. He was a solid player all around, and I'm happy that he got the contract that he got. But you're right, for the Chiefs, I don't understand this deal at all, especially because you did release both of your starting offensive tackles. And guess what? That's what Chiefs fans blamed all of their Super Bowl woes on, is not having those tackles. And then they were suddenly happy that they were gone. It doesn't make sense to me. Bringing in Thuney, as great as he is, he's not going to play tackle for you. So I'm interested to see how this deal works out for the Chiefs. Nonetheless, Joe Thuney, 5 years, $80 million, and a $4.5 million cap hit for 2021. You can't be upset at that at all.
At number 6, we have John Johnson, the safety from the Rams, signing with the Cleveland Browns in what was one of the best signings of the day, because him paired with last year's rookie who didn't play, Grant Delpit, these two together are going to dominate, and they are exactly what the Browns need to get past the Chiefs next year. I think this team is pretty much locked up and ready to go. They pretty much have no holes besides linebacker on this team. They're a couple pieces away, and they're gonna use the rest of their cap space and the rest of and the NFL draft to fix that. I think this is the best team right now to compete for a Super Bowl. They are right there with the Buccaneers as a surefire team on paper.
Yeah, I think they still have a lot of work to do on the offense, but that's another discussion for a different time. John Johnson definitely helps them, and paired with Grant Delpit and Denzel Ward and these guys in the defensive backfield, I mean, this is arguably one of the best defensive backfields that we have in the NFL. So when I take a look at John Johnson, I think they got an absolute steal with this guy. He's an incredibly under the radar signing and one of the best safeties that we had in free agency. I believe that when you take a look at this, when it's all said and done, the Cleveland Browns made a sneaky good deal and nobody is talking about it.
At number 7, we have center Corey Linsley signing with the Los Angeles Chargers. And this is a huge move. Not only do the Green Bay Packers lose one of their biggest pieces on the offensive line, but the Chargers get some extreme help on their offensive line for Justin Herbert. This is a huge piece for a young guy like Herbert, and I think that Corey Linsley is going to help them tremendously. He's going to help them in the pass game. He's going to help them in the run game. He is by far the best center in the league, and he showed that last year, helping Aaron Jones run for over 1,000 yards and Aaron Rodgers become league MVP. Corey Linsley is going to be a tremendous factor for this Chargers offense.
Yeah, you're welcome, Austin Eckler. You're welcome, Justin Herbert, because this offensive line, they are for real. They are getting good, and the loss of some of these players that the Chargers have had over the last few years, this one helps a lot. I gotta tell you, this one helps a lot. I love Corey Linsley. He's one of the best centers in the league. Very underrated player. And I believe that he's going to work really well with Herbert in this backfield. He's going to help this offensive line, probably end up being the vocal captain for them. So I really like this move. The Chargers get to protect their franchise guy in Justin Herbert.
At number 8, we have Ronald Darby, corner, going from the Washington football team to the Denver Broncos. And this is a fantastic move in a Denver Broncos defense that is so close to being there. This team is very well on its way to competing in the division. And I think Ronald Darby gets them ever so closer. I think AJ Bouye was okay for them last year, but he definitely was not Chris Harris Jr. But now Ronald Darby is truly going to be a step up above Bouye and replace Chris Harris Jr. as a lockdown corner. I think that he is one of the most underrated corners, and he was a huge part of that Washington football team defense that went to the playoffs last year. I really think that Broncos got a huge steal right here, and he's going to be a big part of why the Broncos have success in the near future.
Ronald Darby versus Tyreek Hill is going to be one of my favorite matchups to watch next year. Bar none, it really is. And don't forget, they get the addition of Von Miller. Don't forget, he'll be coming back from injury. So Ronald Darby adding to this defense is absolutely incredible. The Broncos needed to make a cornerback adjustment here. They needed to make a move at the position, and they finally get their guy, Ronald Darby, moving on from Washington, which is a huge loss for Washington, no doubt. They're going to have to figure out a way to get some certainties back on that defensive backfield, but nonetheless, Ronald Darby, amazing signing for the Denver Broncos.
At number 9, we have the latest signing of the evening. Bud Dupree has signed with the Tennessee Titans. He is leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is one of the best sackers in the NFL. I think that he is going to be a huge part in Mike Vrabel's defense. We saw that Jadeveon Clowney didn't really work out in the system last year, but I think Bud Dupree is a step above Jadeveon Clowney, and he's going to deliver for this team. They were one of the worst pass rushing defenses, and he is going to bring them above and beyond a lot of the teams in the NFL. They are going to be much better on defense this year with Bud Dupree on the roster.
The fact that the Tennessee Titans were one of the worst pass rushing teams in the NFL last year is a massive slap in the face to Mike Vrabel just at his core, because he comes into his coaching position as one of the most decorated outside linebackers to grace an NFL football field. So when we're taking a look at this and he says, okay, now I want my guy, Bud Dupree. We tried it with Vic Beasley. We tried it with Jadeveon Clowney. Now I get my turn, and it's Bud Dupree. And Bud Dupree is no joke. This guy can rush the passer like crazy from the outside linebacker position. He can play a little coverage as well. Don't underestimate what he can do dropping back. So I love this signing. He's going to work hand in hand with Mike Vrabel, and I believe that Bud Dupree is going to reach new heights and new levels in his career just by signing with the Tennessee Titans.
And finally, at number 10, it's the signing of Corey Davis to the New York Jets. This is a huge deal for the Jets. They lost Robbie Anderson 2 years ago, and you see what he's doing in Carolina. I think that they're going to finally replace him with Corey Davis, and him with Denzel Mims on the other side, and Jamison Crowder in the slot. This is going to be one of the best wide receiver cores that the Jets have had in a very long time, and something that Sam Darnold and or their number 2 overall pick are going to utilize extremely well next season. The offense is definitely getting there for the Jets. The only question is, can they fix up that defense?
Yeah, can they fix up that defense? And you know what? This is the first time we actually saw Joe Douglas open up that wallet just a little bit. We are you and I are under the understanding that Joe Douglas is a very stringent GM. He does not like to spend money. He is very tight knit when it comes to free agency. He likes to build through the draft. And we have tried to talk to Jets fans about this. We have talked to our friends about this. Nobody wants to listen, but it finally came around 7 o'clock tonight on day one that they finally opened up the wallet, got a big name free agent. And I think they had to, with everything New England was doing, they had to show that they were in play for somebody, because it was reported from multiple sources, including Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter, that the New York Jets were in on a lot of the players that ended up going to the New England Patriots. I think Joe Douglas needed to actually win one here, and he got his guy, Corey Davis, who is also linked to the Patriots and a couple of other teams. All right, well, that's going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.